القسم الإذاعي بموقع التلفزيون المصري الأوروبي يقدم لقاء إذاعي. إعداد وتقديم محمد الحريري. هندسة إذاعية كريم محمود. إخراج محمد إسماعيل.
أهلا بكم أعزائي المستمعين في أول لقاء إذاعي لنا على راديو العرب من فيينا. لقاؤنا اليوم مع الدكتور فينر فاصيل أبند، وزير الدفاع الأسبق ورئيس المعهد النمساوي للشؤون الأوروبية والسياسات الأمنية. أهلا مع الوزير. مع الوزير، أنت كنت في تركيا وشاهدت المباحثات الأوكرانية الروسية من أجل السلام. كيف تقرأ هذه المحادثات، وهل تتوقع أن يكون هناك سلام بين الطرفين؟
The strategic situation and the political situation between Russia and Ukraine certainly is some kind of troubling everybody in the world. And at the moment, it seems that there is no solution in sight. What is the reason? The expectation was, due to the fact that both sides did not have enough progress in the last 1.5 years, that the time had become mature for peace talks and for some progress in this relationship between the two countries. Especially also due to the fact that President Trump tried very hard to use all his personal relations to President Putin in order to bring him to a state that he would be ready for peace. Unfortunately, this has not happened up to now. On the contrary, Russia is posting new troops near the border to Ukraine, and also the bombardments, the bombing of cities and also of troops in Ukraine has even increased. And insofar, the world is discussing what will happen next, or will anything happen next, or will Putin just wait in order to get a strategic advantage in relation to Ukraine. This is insofar also of quite some importance, because also the strategic interests of Europe and of America in this case are quite different. America has quite some interest in order to develop a good relationship with Putin's Russia. And Europe, of course, does have quite some interest that the Russian aggression against Ukraine will not succeed. Why? Because otherwise there would be the big danger, maybe or probably also for some other sensitive points at the map. What do we discuss about? Especially in the Baltic countries, there's quite some fear that Russia could use a victory against Ukraine as political backing for having maybe also another political aims in the future. This would mean that, for example, Russia could try to get access, direct access between Belarus and the Oblast Kaliningrad, a direct connection between mainland Russia and this outpost at the Black Sea. And this, of course, would not only be a danger for the neighboring countries like Poland and Lithuania, but in the long run for the three very small Baltic countries, very small compared to all the neighboring countries. And insofar, the situation for Europe is of quite some importance because deterrence is necessary in order to keep peace for all the members of European Union. This is the main goal. Whereas, as I said, for the United States, a good relationship with Russia in order more or less to neutralize Russia between China and America does have quite some importance. And insofar, everybody's looking at the further development. Let's hope that there will be peace. And when I'm talking about peace, of course, I do not mean a formal peace treaty. This nobody can expect. Why? Because on the one hand, Ukraine cannot renounce for around about 20% of its territory and give it up. And on the other hand, Russia, of course, will not give up any square meter it has fought for now for practically 3 years and has, of course, also quite a balance of damages and of costs of people and material that is enormous. One has to be aware that Russia lost around about 200 killed soldiers in Ukraine. This is more than the whole Russian invasion army at the beginning of the war has had. This means Russia really has lost a whole army, and not any part, but certainly also its best forces. And therefore, nobody can expect formal peace treaty, but some kind of just, more or less ceasefire with maybe some corrections at the nowadays front line. This also will not be politically easy for Putin. Why? Because he has annexed 4 Ukrainian oblasts, but he could not conquer them. None of them completely, and 2 of them only to a rather small part. And this would mean that, of course, also it is obvious that he could not reach his war goals for this, as he called it, special mission. And therefore, it obviously is not so easy to end this warfare between Russia and Ukraine at the moment.
مع الوزير، كيف تتوقع من المباحثات الأمريكية الإيرانية فيما يتعلق بالبرنامج النووي؟
Yeah, on the other hand, we are now in a new situation of negotiations between the United States of America and Iran about a nuclear deal. After Trump has canceled the nuclear deal that was, not only ready, but really also functioning during his first term. Now he is eager to have a new deal. And the biggest question, of course, will be what shall happen to the enrichment that Iran has done and that it can and will do in the future. And there, the two positions are quite different. America does want that Iran will not have any enrichment anymore in the future. And of course, for Iran, this is practically the red line where they probably never will agree with. Why? Because this would mean that they have less rights than any other nation that has signed the NPT. And this would mean that Iran would see itself treated as sort of a pariah nation by the United States. And this it never will agree about. And therefore, the whole question will be whether the two parties can find any pragmatic solution in order to go forward, to get control about this question, and to get a still stand in this turbulent relationship, and also some contribution for more stability in the Middle East. The situation in the Gaza Strip still is catastrophic. This is the only expression I can use due to the fact that on the one hand, the fighting is going on, but it's not so much the fighting that really is bothering almost everybody on the whole world, but it is the humanitarian situation. A situation where more than 50,000 civilian people were killed, and where daily young kids, children, are killed by bullets, by hunger, or by disease, where they do not have medicine in order to treat it. And this is certainly a situation that is not acceptable for anybody.
وكيف تقيم الأوضاع في غزة؟
Also best friends of Israel, like Germany, due to history, are distancing themselves more and more every day from Israel, because nobody can accept such a situation without any reaction from Bibi Netanyahu's government.
شهدت منطقة الشرق الأوسط تغيرات جذرية في الشهور الأخيرة. كيف تقرأ هذه التغيرات؟
We do have a situation in the so-called Middle East that has been very rich on tensions for decades, many decades. It is not only the relationship between Israel and the Palestinians, but it was also the relationship between Israel and Iran, Israel and Turkey, and at least partly between Israel and its Arab neighbors. But most of the time, also, the question of the treatment of Palestinians was in the center of discussions. And this certainly will continue as long as there is no change of politics in the Palestinian government. We now do have a different situation in the neighborhood. Israel managed more or less to defeat Hamas in the Gaza Strip, but also Hezbollah in Libya. Assad regime in Syria has changed, and now a new government is over there, but Israel has occupied part of southern Syria and is bombing even the capital, Damascus. And insofar, the situation still is very hot for all sides. And in this situation, it certainly is also quite interesting that the new Syrian government that has radical roots from radical Islamist movements and was strictly against also against members of other religions and sects, and is now trying to establish a new overall Syrian government. The outside, of course, still is somehow skeptic. On the other hand, nobody can see a real alternative at the moment to have another government that could bring at least some stability to Syria within a region, Israel, Lebanon as immediate neighbors, that could also be a contribution for the overall stability of the whole Middle East. And insofar also, not only America, but also European countries tried to start new relations with the new administration of Sharia, even if nobody can predict what will be the outcome and what will be the further development. But there is hope that sooner or later there could be established at least some stability, and insofar also a contribution for the stability of the region.
يعيش السودان أزمة إنسانية كبيرة بسبب الحرب. كيف تقيم الأوضاع هناك؟
In Sudan, the catastrophic situation is still continuing, although it seems that the government with President Burhan at the top has regained very important parts of the country, like the capital, but also other parts. On the other hand, also the troops of Hemeti and his friends obviously bombarded Port Sudan. And insofar the situation still is very unclear and is ongoing for the civil population, which means that there's no help from outside and there's a medical catastrophe.
وفي الختام أحييكم أعزائي المستمعين من راديو العرب من فيينا. إلى اللقاء في لقاء إذاعي آخر. محمد الحريري من فيينا.